than more of a defensive comp, and I'm kind of hoping they pick Cassiopeia so they can turn people to stone in the true spirit of their team name.
We see this is the second time they've instant first banned this Cho'Gath, and so we have the first two bans came out there exactly.
They're mainly picking off the assassins here. I guess Cho'Gath doesn't really count as an assassin apart from his ult, but it seems like a group bans between tanks and assassins, but no AD champs at all have been banned yet.
Yeah, this is very true. Ari and LeBlanc are both champions we've seen These Hoes Ain't Loyal, the mid laner of Walthamstow, play really well on, and I'm quite surprised that we've seen the LeBlanc ban come twice.
What about the Cho'Gath ban? Why do you think that's come through? I mean, Cho'Gath isn't traditionally a banned champion, especially not in the high seeding elos. Was there a particularly strong Cho'Gath in the last game, or?
No, they actually haven't played Cho'Gath at all in this tournament, as far as I've seen. I assume Kingren might have it as a comfort pick that they've seen in like solo queue or something.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really die at all, and is definitely a safe top laner. And the size is very useful to block all those incoming skill shots with Elixir of Iron. But
and likewise with the Vayne ban out of Walthamstow, I think that Yoki is quite proficient on that in solo queue, so they've kind of decided against it, even though you could say it's probably it's probably somewhat easy to play around, especially because Playboy is so he has shown himself 4 games now in a row to be very
the problem with Vayne is she invalidates most tanks, and it looks like neither team is really going. I mean, they've started with 2 off tank top lanes. They haven't really got a massive amount of HP in there, so at the moment against a Hecarim, and Irelia is an interesting pick. You've got the mobility on one side, and on the other side you've got the sustain. But I guess we'll see how it actually matches up. It's quite a skill matchup, this one. There's no champ that's really dominating over the other one, but...
Yeah, definitely. Last game we actually had Kingren on the Hecarim, and I assume this pick was just a first pick to keep him off it, because he was really annoying in that game for Pandora. He kind of kept the enemy team away from the fights, because he would just go in, he would just E in and stop them from being at the fight while the carry is picked off the tank line of Pandora.
Yeah, you just totally disrupt their front line. But the ghost pick on Hecarim, I mean, that's fantastic for the engagers and the team fights, but it's going to leave him very open to ganks versus a Vi. I mean, her dash is going to be extremely powerful against someone with no ability to move out of the way.
Definitely. And so now we see also the Pantheon and the Thresh pickups there from Suijin and what will be Goliath Overlord. What do you think on those?
Well, I mean, they're kind of going for a pick comp here. I mean, you go for a Panth stun into a Thresh hook, and eventually the person's crowd control for so long they can't properly react. Oh, but no, the Janna would counter that Pantheon fantastically. I mean, with his ult or with his jump, he just won't be able to get into the team fights with the Janna ult, and that'll also keep the Hecarim out of the fight as well. I don't think the Janna can actually CC the Hecarim out of his ultimate, but it'll certainly keep him off their carries. And, I mean, it kind of looks like they're going for a protect the AD carry comp at the moment. I mean, with a Vi and a Janna and someone with as much range as Caitlyn, they're just going to see if they can get that carry on the back line, I suppose, gunning into the team fights.
I think it's interesting that Pandora have gone for the Pantheon pick, because we saw that they played they were equally, like they were on equal terms with Walthamstow in the early game, and Pantheon is definitely an early game jungler in comparison to a Mumu who isn't that great in the early. So maybe this is their plan. Their plan is they have Hecarim to bully out the Irelia early game. They have Pantheon to make as much pressure as he can early game, and they want to just try and steamroll before the enemy team can steamroll. But Janna will definitely be a kind of a stick in the cog there.
Exactly. I mean, the real problem at the moment that I can see is their comp is focused on engage, and Janna is focused on disengage. I mean, aside from that, I can't really see any innate tankiness coming from Pandora. I'm wondering if these last 2 picks are going to bring out like maybe a Leona support. So they're going for an extremely mobile team. Twisted Fate's a very dangerous pick, because the lane ganks that he can pull off can be flawless and easily sway a lane, but if they are not using that ultimate regularly, and if the lanes, so if Severe and Thresh don't allow the lane to push towards them enough, then they're not going to be able to use that TF ult at all. And with someone like Irelia, who has, an incredible amount of escape, especially with her tenacity passive, that's not going to be a very strong gank.
But that said, I don't think that the I think his gold cards are going to be exclusively here for Playboy. The whole kind of comp, as you mentioned earlier, is quite protect the AD carry, and it's not really misplaced here. We have seen Playboy play extremely well in all of his games, so the protect the AD carry comp fits perfectly for Walthamstow. But with that gold card exclusively going on to him, I wouldn't be surprised if.
I mean, you know, the rest of the team could just collapse around that. I mean, to be fair, I don't like the pick of Katarina into such a crowd control heavy team. I mean, almost their entire design is crowd control. Every single character, apart from Severe, has some form of hard crowd control, and I'm not sure that a Katarina pick into that would be so strong. But then again, like I said, they've gone for quite a pick comp. I mean, a Vi ult into a Caitlyn ult will just lock someone down, and they can deal a ton of damage before the person can even respond in any way. So if a Katarina was able to follow up on that, we might see some really good plays. I suppose it's all going to depend on whether or not they can make really good use of their CC and properly chain it.
I agree. As far as we can see, so from these two comps, I think if Walthamstow can not fall behind and do what they did in the first game, they're definitely just going to dominate this game as we get past about 15 minutes. But if Pandora can pull off this strategy that they've clearly illustrated,
clearly gone with the mobile team. They haven't taken a single ignite. And Twisted Fate with teleport, I'm not a fan of, because if you're thinking about a team with a major heal coming in from Janna, a heal on the team from Caitlyn, they haven't got a single ignite to counteract Irelia's passive healing abilities. It's 2 exhausts, which is even even more dangerous in my opinion, because you're not taking anything to deal with their healing on their team at all. It's gonna put them in a bad position in any kind of prolonged team fights. And I'm keen to see how the range matchup of Twisted Fate goes against Katarina, because the Twisted Fate can really shut down a Katarina if he can keep her controlled and keep the gold cards on her if she tries to get near him. But I mean, what do you think about that mid lane? An exhaust versus an aggressively looking Katarina?
Well, I think the exhaust is a bit misplaced, to be honest. Katarina isn't really going to kill him 1v1. She's going to want to roam and get a kill on bot lane, get that double kill. So unless he can follow, if he's essentially saying with this exhaust, I am going to follow you until I need to burn this exhaust.
And Twisted Fate shouldn't really roam until level 6 when his roaming is not done through walking anywhere. He'll just teleport somewhere. So I mean, he's a strong champion, but he's not someone you would conventionally imagine getting first blood in a lane. He's not got a lot of chase before 6, and he's got some good crowd control, but his nuking potential until about level 6 is still pretty low, so it'll be interesting to see how he actually utilises that versus a Katarina. I'm curious as well to see how the early game presence of Pantheon compared to Vi. I mean, you know, I'm hoping that the Pantheon jungle is going to spend a lot of time in the bot lane, because until Janna gets that ult up, they're not really, apart from a well-placed tornado, going to be able to defend against a gank they can't see coming.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But that said, with that ult out of nobody as well, we also have all of the ults coming out of the enemy team. It's kind of a question of who's going to spike harder. The Katarina, Vi, Janna, and Caitlyn's ult isn't that great, but it comes in handy a lot in comparison to the Hecarim, Pantheon, the Twisted Fate, and Sivir ults.
Yeah, I mean, they've literally gone for an intense mobility team. The speed buff off the Sivir is just something that can basically just act as a perfect engage or disengage. And the problem is, depending on how a Walthamstow do engage, they could. I mean, you know, if they're clumped together during a team fight and both teams are fighting on par, they'll get shredded, because the Hecarim crowd control followed up by a Thresh box and a Pantheon ult would just mean, you know, a total disruption of their team fight. And whilst Kate does have mobility with her heavy net, if she gets caught out on her own, she's not the kind of AD carry that can duel 2 people at a time unless she's significantly fed. So that'll be interesting to see. I think the poke coming from the bottom lane as well. I mean, they've definitely gone for a poke lane. Janna Caitlyn is widely known as just about the safest bot lane that you can pick. Both people having incredible range, but I mean, what we're really going to see here is how good the Thresh's death sentences are. I mean, you know, if he's getting many of those on them in bot lane, then they're not really going to be able to counter it too much. So, anyway, here we go.
That was really badly timed for me.
It'll be interesting to see if they go for an early invade here. I think a good utilization of the Pantheon and the Thresh their crowd control could make for a fantastic engage here if they manage to catch out some of the enemies before 2 minutes in. I mean, depending on what buff they start, there are some classic invade routes that aren't really guarded against because no one expects it, especially with the lack of escape of the Walthamstow team before level 3.
Yeah.
I mean, if Twisted Fate started Gold Card and Thresh started Death Sentence, then they're going to be getting some very hard engage early game, and it would almost seem like a waste to not utilize that, especially with 2 exhausts. No one can really escape that.
Definitely. Yeah. You could also, I think that's definitely a good idea for them to invade, but whether they will or not will remain to be seen, really.
Yeah.
When we had in the last game, I don't know if Pandora actually saw it, but the Walthamstow team were quite separated. They decided to put each of their respective lanes in each of the respective gaps of the jungle to make sure that they knew no one got in. But that could, if in a group of 5, which they did actually do, but they didn't capitalize anything on because they ended up getting warded in the bottom lane. So, but they could capitalize on that, and they could get an easy first blood or a free double kill if they get the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be all about communication at the moment for Pandora, because the amount of roaming that has potential for their team. I mean, you've got the Katarina that's just going to be walking all over the map, and you've got the Vi whose mobility is unbelievable. The amount of vision control that's going to be necessary to keep track on all of those people is really going to make or break the game for them. If you can always see a Vi gank coming, then the ganks are virtually not effective. But I suppose it all depends on how good their warding is and how good their SS calling is going to be. Aside from that, I mean, I can already see that Hecarim's going to be reported for being the only player without a skin, but apart from that, it's looking like a really strong start from Pandora. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. And just coming off of the comment you made about the Vi was picked last game for Walthamstow as well, and she did have a lot of pressure. They did make a dive on bot lane, but not on bot lane, sorry, on top lane even. But it didn't really result as something that they would really wanted, I don't think, and it kind of didn't work out so well for them.
Yeah, I mean, you can have a huge amount of impact as Vi, but if the enemy team can keep tabs on you, then their ability to track your movement throughout the game just ruins your early game pressure. And again with Pantheon, if you can see a Pantheon ult coming, you can't really get caught out. You just walk backwards and ease off the lane pressure. So again, it's going to be a lot about the warding in this game, a lot about the vision.
As you can see, as we just come into this game, everyone's just gonna and there's pause comes
and we've
out.
got a disconnect by the Thresh. It looks like Thresh hasn't managed to connect into the game yet, unfortunately. Hopefully the Soul Train will be here soon.
Hopefully. Just one thing, what do you think the level 1, apart from the kind of invade, do you think in terms of lanes, what do you think?
It's looking like a sustain lane, top lane for Hecarim and for Aurelia, and to be honest, that is, in my opinion as a top laner, with those two champions clashing against each other, you can't really expect any huge fights and any kind of first blood. So all you want to do in the top lane is stay alive and get as much farm as possible before you have to go back. But what you've got to realise is Aurelia has her passive health regen, which Hecarim just lacks, and if that's used correctly, it means Aurelia will out-sustain Hecarim. So it's all going to be about a matter of who is the more skilled lane opponent, as I said earlier.
I would have assumed that it would have been a better idea for Hecarim to try and go for that first blood. His Q damage is ridiculous, and it's viable for him to start with a longsword because it goes into his phage, which makes it easier for him to buy that if he gets that.
But as everyone knows, the risk of a Fed Aurelia is almost too much to if it pays off, it pays off. But it's one of those high risk, high reward strategies. The last thing you want to do is see an Aurelia start to snowball at 3 or 5 minutes, because she just gets exponentially better as the game goes along. It looks like no one is going to invade this game. They've got some good defense. There's definitely a potential invade that could be utilized there, as Walthamstow look pretty split, but it looks like they're going to start a nice safe jungle and in red.
No, looks like they're just going to... You see Hecarim going up to that top lane again.
Yeah.
There's nothing is going to happen. They're just going to leave it.
The lack of cookies in Thresh's inventory must mean that he's gone for quite a heavy AD build here, which means he's going to be looking to get some big pokes off onto the enemy team. And it's it's that damage that can sway a bot lane, especially versus a Caitlyn. Oh, being cautious there and checking the tri-brush. It's always a good way to see a jungler.
It seemed no one was really there. It was just standard now.
Yeah. I mean, this is the point in the game where Twisted Fate really needs to be poking Katarina at every available opportunity, because he can just get her so low for free with those blue cards, and then as long as if he appropriately zones her off, you'll just see the lane just turn massively in his favor.
Yeah, as you can see with the CS right now, he's just been picking up everything, and then he's also getting a little bit of harass on. I'm surprised he hasn't prioritized harassing more. But I guess if he just probably wants that level 2 quicker. So.
Yeah, and as you can see, Hecarim is bullying top lane here. I mean, the problem with a Hecarim versus an Aurelia is trade-wise. The Aurelia will probably win if Hecarim stays in for too long. But if he can just keep gently wearing her away with his Q, then he's gonna end up with a lot more damage off on her than the alternative.
Yeah. But we do have a Vi actually cleared considerably quicker than the Pantheon has.
Yeah, I mean,
she's already up in the top side, so she could actually go up for a gank, because they did do this in the last game when we had Hecarim on Kingren.
I mean, yeah, the normal strategy is to clear the buff and one other camp, but it seems that Pantheon's gone for all 3 camps in his jungle side, and I'm not sure if that's going to work in their favour, because Twisted Fate and Hecarim all seem incredibly pushed, far too much to gank. So here we can see the gank developing top lane. Now, this could be a really easy first blood. I mean, you've got the Hecarim with no wards. He has no idea that Vi is there. I mean, I suppose at this point in time, it's all going to be about how the Aurelia engages this. So, I mean, we've got the Hecarim poking. Here it comes down. Now, Vi's coming in, hits the CC. They got the slow on the red buff. Hecarim's not going to make it out of there, and that's going to be an easy first blood taken from Walthamstow Central. Now, as I said at the start, this is just due to a lack of warding. He had no vision in the river there. There was no reason for him to have not dropped his ward down. He just left himself completely open for a gank. And when you're pushing like that, you just can't be that careless, because it makes it too easy for the enemy jungler to just come up and secure first blood. And, you know, starting with an Aurelia and a Vi getting first blood is exactly what you don't want in any kind of team fight.
And as you can kind of see up in the top lane, he hasn't really pushed. He's just decided the minions are on his side because Hecarim was so pushed. Yeah, so he's just going to freeze it, and that's going to...
Okay, so it looks like there might be the shield being used appropriately by Severe here, but she's taking a lot of free poke from that Caitlyn. There's no need for her to be that close. Thresh engaging here, which I strongly disagree with, as Severe is virtually one-shot. And to be honest, if Severe stays in lane, then it's looking like it's going to be another kill for
a flash auto attack from Playboy right now could actually kill.
And one well-placed tornado. Also, it looks like it's going to be a jungler fight between Pantheon and Vi. Now, Vi
does have a level.
Vi does have a level on him, and not only that, Katarina has a much stronger engage than Vi here. Katarina has the potential to get resets and really easily clean up. However, Vi is looking like she's going pretty low. Now's going to be the time for the TF gold card. The red card comes out, and it looks like it's going to be a kill for Pandora. Pantheon's ticking over that red buff. Can he get a gold card off? Does Twisted Fate have his flash? I don't know if he held his flash, but this would almost be worth it. He does the flash. Here comes the damage. There we go. Double kill for Twisted Fate. Now that's going to give him a huge advantage, and they must use that to snowball their Twisted Fate with a lot of lane ganks using that ultimate when it's up. So it looks like Aurelia's coming down to try and pick off that Twisted Fate. I mean, what do you think about her leaving the lane at such an early stage?
I think it's probably not that beneficial for her. I think she should have just stayed. She didn't get anything.
Oh, look at that. Now, that's exactly what I was trying to say earlier. The Sivir had no reason not to back on that kind of low HP. She just leaves herself in a position to be killed. Sadly, that is what happened, and I'm afraid that Hecarim fighting Aurelia here is actually, well, it's looking like it's going in Hecarim's favour, but it all depends on whether or not he's actually going to see the next gank coming. He's put a ward down in mid lane. Well, he didn't even put that ward down, but there is at least a ward in the river to give him some kind of vision, which has expired. We'll see whether or not Vi capitalises on that.
But we do need to also take into account that Kingren has the XP advantage right now. He's going to hit 6 faster.
Yeah.
So no matter even if he is lower HP, although he isn't now because he's used some
Well, I mean, he left the lane for quite a while, and I'm wondering if that's going to mean that Hecarim actually does hit level first, because a shared kill compared to a couple of waves of creep is probably going to give Hecarim the XP advantage. But we'll see in the coming engage who hits first.
The XP is in the favour of Kingren right now, but it's not as much as I thought it would be. Just a small trade there.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, it's the flask that comes in so handy here. Both players dropping low on health and mana, and they can just heal for free with that flask. It's just such an essential item in top lane if you're not planning on killing the enemy laner. Kingren actually creeps. Oh, okay, so we're going to bot now, and I mean the lane is pushing hugely. I would say in the detriment of Pandora. The last thing they want is to be pushed up against an enemy who is ahead of them and has more damage on their side. And while Sivir does have true damage on that boomerang blade, it doesn't really look like she's tossing it out a lot.
And if we actually have a look at the CS, you can see that it's actually quite heavily in favor of the Caitlyn. She is
exactly.
18 CS up now.
Caitlyn is a laner born to creep score and stay well. But okay, so here we go. The second gank going down on Hecarim as a result of a lack of vision, but he's not in any danger here. He has his ultimate up, so he can escape. But if Hecarim doesn't work on that vision, that could be an easy another kill for Walthamstow. I mean, without having a warden. Okay, so it looks like Hecarim's finally got wise of that and warded the river.
Yeah, I think he should be fine. The Aurelia is way too low on mana, and I don't think she has any more charges on that flask. So she is just going to go B. She doesn't really want to stay here, which should give Hecarim that CS lead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we can see Pantheon considering a gank in mid and deciding against it because of the lack of push. Okay, so we've burnt the flash in bot lane. This could open up a huge gank potential for Pantheon if he does come down in time. But for some reason, it still seems like Pandora wants to keep the lane pushed. And I mean, there goes the boomerang blade. I mean, we're looking at TF now in the mid. He seems like he's still getting plenty of cards out, but not too many on Katarina. I mean, it looks like Katarina is behind in creep, and Twisted Fate is ahead of in both kills and creep. And at this point in time, doesn't have quite as much damage. He's not going straight into his Lichbane build, which is quite common to keep the sustain up, but it does mean he's going to have less output when it comes to the 1v1.
Definitely, we can see Goliath.
So we can see, here we go. Okay. So this is when the Twisted Fate gank could be useful. Now, the teleport coming down as well, but that crowd control, she does not have flash, so she could be caught here, but a very well-timed ult means she's going to get out safely. Now, this is what I mean about the Twisted Fate. He did not teleport nearly far down enough into the lane to make his gank effective. Now, a Hecarim ult over the wall would be a very ballsy move here, but it seems like Pantheon's going hard. Now, if they try and counter this, a Hecarim could quite easily come in and mop up some serious kills. Okay, there goes the ult. The Vial goes down. Now we're going to see a dead Caitlyn on the front line. Okay, so we've got the Hecarim trap behind the enemy lines in the jungle, and it's all about whether his team is actually going to be able to collapse behind him or not. If he runs this way, he's going to tank 2 tower hits and most likely die. There's the first, there's the second. Now, can Walthamstow capitalise and actually get a dragon? I feel that Hecarim went too deep there without having his team synergise with the follow-up. I mean, what do you think? Do you think his team should have chased there, or do you think it was good that they backed off and conceded the Hecarim death?
I think it was definitely worthwhile of them just conceding the Hecarim death. Well, it wasn't worthwhile for them to concede it, but there was not much they could have done. I don't think they would have won that fight if they extended any.
Yeah, I think Hecarim may have potentially held his ult for a bit too long there. I mean, there was a point in which he could have ulted over the walls to secure 2 very low health enemies. And the key thing was they didn't have the vision to know they were there. Again, I'm seeing a big lack of vision from the side of Pandora. If you look at the wards, there's only, I'd say, 2 wards from Pandora on the map at the moment. We've got about 6 from Walthamstow. Pandora don't seem to have bought a single pink ward either. And it seems that Walthamstow are doing a fantastic job of controlling that vision. And at the moment,
it seems they heard you and put a pink down.
Yeah, exactly. When they're listening to the right guy. It's I mean, there's no excuse for having 2 wards in a game at any point in time. I mean,
2 wards between 5 people.
Exactly. You can have at least 5 pink wards down, and there's no reason to have your trinket on cooldown. There's never a point where vision is not a good thing. Okay, so we're going to see a lot of poke down on this Thresh here. I mean, the Thresh doesn't seem to be capitalizing. He doesn't seem to have hit too many hooks so far. Caitlyn's standing in such a precarious location with creeps dying all around her. It seems like some more hooks should be landing, but they're just not at the moment, which is not giving them enough pressure.
You have a kind of gank coming out here from Lelouch there, but
yeah,
it doesn't really work out. The tornado kind of
it's what we expected from the Kate Janna lane. Their safety is just second to none. I mean, I think
getting taken down really low here.
Yeah, it looks like Hecarim's not going to get out of here. Yeah, and that's the problem with the early damage on Aurelia coming out thanks to that assist. Twisted Fate actually wildcarding the wrong direction there. Hopefully he won't do that again. And it seems like bot lane is pushing massively in the favour of Walthamstow. And unfortunately, Pandora can't... Okay, so Pantheon's got caught out here. I'm not sure if Vi has her ult. There goes Pantheon. And I feel like a granddad saying this, but they still don't have the vision to know where they're going. And they are not going to be able to win this game without keeping tabs on that Vi. The Vi just has too much pressure, and it is beyond ahead of the Pantheon right now in terms of both farm. I mean, we're looking at Pantheon on 26 farm. I'm not really sure what he's been doing, because we haven't seen too many Pantheon ganks. I mean, the farm should definitely be higher than that if he's focusing on the jungle. Vi seems to be clearing faster and ganking more, and it looks like, due to a lack of vision, Walthamstow are going to be able to concede the first jungle without Pandora even knowing, the first dragon without Pandora even knowing.
That goes down. One thing I would like to talk about here is TF. He is 2-0, and he did have double buffs from I think it was about 4 minutes when he got that
Yeah.
double kill, but nothing really happened with it. He had the XP, he had the double buffs. He could have done so much with that, but instead nothing really happened. He had a failed gank bot lane, and now he can't even really face that Karina.
Yeah, I mean, a big mistake from teams picking Twisted Fate. A big mistake that's commonly made. Now, it looks like Hecarim's going to die again. I don't think he's realised that this Aurelia is significantly. The Pantheon gank coming in. Will the Hecarim ult be able to stop that? It looks like Twisted Fate's going to gank in bot lane. He's ganked at the right angle now. Caitlyn's gone very hard, and it looks like Aurelia may go down. One Pantheon Sphere, there we go. And now in the bot lane, this Twisted Fate seems to be capitalising more. He's got the gold card, but that Katarina has some serious resets to be had there. I mean, we've got some very... Okay, there we go. The crowd control on Katarina is dragging her into the tower. No gold card to follow up under tower, but he still hits her with the gold card, and they have to back off.
Vi comes in here, takes off that.
Now it looks like Vi's going to get a double kill here. I mean, the problem with this is oh, okay. So we see the Katarina just dying for those resets. The gold card comes in a very appropriate time, and she's going to manage to get out with both resets. The Shunpo is just too strong here, and I mean, Pantheon shouldn't even be staying. Pantheon shouldn't even be entertaining the idea of fighting this Vi at this point in time.
She is 4-1.
Exactly. I mean, she's already completed her jungle at least once more than Pantheon, and he just doesn't seem to have any damage at the moment. And with an early game champion such as Pantheon, not having damage at this point in the game is just not what you want to be seeing.
And one thing I want to also mention here is if we have a look at the scores of everyone in this game, what was Karina was like 0-1 from that double kill earlier, and now she's 4-1. It's just team, like when they've grouped a little bit together, like in that little bot lane fight there, they just mopped up kills in comparison to Pandora, who haven't.
I mean, the Twisted Fate engage started off looking quite good, but when you actually looked at the minimap and you looked at the way that Walthamstow were reacting because of their vision, that it was actually an engage that was never really in Pandora's favour. And because Pandora couldn't see Katarina and didn't know where she was, they had no ability to react to the fact that she was coming to assist. We can see a clear gold advantage in favour of Walthamstow at the moment, and I mean, all Walthamstow seem to be doing at the moment is just increasing that gold advantage. Okay, so we see Twisted Fate just get absolutely melted here. He even had vision of that Vi coming in, so why he didn't back off, I'm not sure. I think vision is a big issue in this game.
Even though he did have that vision there, I think he just didn't respect the engage there from Vi, and the fact that both of them were 4-1. So
exactly.
They just melted him. It was just like a cue to the face.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, Twisted Fate just doesn't have that duel potential like Katarina does. She's one of the strongest duelists in the game, and especially when you're sitting there without any real escape or crowd control, the ultimate can just melt players. And I think we saw the gold card go down just before the engage there, so they've timed that very well. And I mean, and even now, with their team being this pushed up, because they are just totally dominating on vision and totally dominating on crowd control, there's no way they're in any danger. If the enemy team tries to engage with the Sivir ult and Twisted Fate gold card, they'll probably just end up dying. I mean, even with the Pantheon, they have no innate tankiness, and the Tornadoes here are just going to cause such a problem when it comes to the team fights. And as you can see, Janna again, just feeling totally confident in her ability to blow the enemy team away with that ult every time they go even near the carry. I mean, with the lack of deaths from their Janna, you can tell that she really is feeling safe. I mean,
3 assists away from being James Bond.
Yeah, I think this team comp started as a protect the carry comp, but it's just gone on to protect the fed people compilation, and sadly that
I don't think it's really protecting.
Yeah,
the fed people.
It's just everyone is
kill
now.
Everyone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they have the objective advantage, they have the tower advantage. No, they haven't lost a single tower, and the Hecarim just can no longer face this Aurelia. So it looks like the Thresh is going to go down here. And, I mean, there we go. We just see it again. I mean, he's trying to... They don't even have vision in their own jungle. So there's no way you can really expect them to be able to see any of these ganks coming. Just simply trying to get vision was enough to get the Thresh killed. And, I mean, at this point in time, when you've failed for so long to establish any kind of sight, it's going to be a problem.
Could be another free kill for them on that Pantheon, but they decide against it.
Yeah, I mean, now they're playing risky because they've got two very damaging champions with no real disengage. And, you know, Twisted Fate, whilst he has died, you can't underestimate the damage he can get off with a gold card. Okay, so they're going to engage, and it looks like Katarina is going to get some serious damage, but get the kill and get out of there safely.
That puts her at 6-1.
The problem with any Katarina is if you see her starting to get fed and you don't react to that, you're going to be in real trouble. I mean, I have to say they're doing really well in the aspect that they're not running into the jungle anymore, having seen. So
But it doesn't even matter anymore.
there
They're
we
just
go.
gonna
It
get
doesn't even
dived.
matter. The Hecarimalt goes down, and I mean, he gets all four of them in the crowd control, which was fantastic. It was a brilliant ult. I mean, the Thresh box goes down to stop the chase, but when Irelia gets fed like this, you just can't stop her. I mean, even under tower, Walthamstow are just a bit more grouped, a bit more coherent as a team, and sadly that means they just got the advantage. A very brave ult coming in from Pantheon here,
and he is going
to get melted by the. Okay, he gets out alive, and
it looks like he's.
It looks like Caitlyn just wants that kill with the quick shot. There we go. Okay, another very brave ultimate by Twisted Fate. He manages to hit the Janna, and he's getting some damage down on the Vi. Flashes out. Fortunately, they can't follow him. He could have just walked through the wall, but there we go. The Vi gets the kill. And is the Irelia going to be killed?
I think that's a kill for
The Irelia is finally going to go down after some of the most ballsy engages I've ever seen. And in this instance, you can just see it. They're running in one at a time. They've not got the coherent group function that Walthamstow seems to be exhibiting. They're probably going to. I mean, the second dragon is going to go in Walthamstow's favour. You can see it. They've still got no vision on it. Not that they really could establish any vision at this point in the game, but that lack of vision early game just absolutely killed them.
Definitely. You can see, like, they're 4 turrets down now to 0. They haven't actually taken a single turret, and they have no turrets in the mid lane, which makes them lose so much vision around
exactly
the kind of the center of the map. So they don't have any idea where any of these people are, and because they had no wards prior to having, like, when those turrets were up, and now they have to invest in vision to
get vision cover that already.
Yeah. Is not effective for them right now.
I mean, the other problem is that what I'd love to advise this team is that going solo against I mean, you just see the Pantheon go in here. The enemy has so much crowd control that one champion is not enough to take down any of their team. They all have so much escape and mobility. They need to start grouping and moving as a 4 or even a 5. I mean, the chaining of the crowd control that I mentioned earlier just hasn't been happening. They've been so split throughout the majority of the last 5 minutes that they haven't had any chance to utilize the fact that they have more than 4 different ways to keep the enemy teams down.
From Ninshuki there, and that is another free kill. I think he's just Twisted Fate is just really not respecting the amount of distance that this Vi can travel at one point in time.
Yeah,
she just uses her Q, and then she's going to be in your face.
Yeah.
As long as she can get into ult range, which she definitely can.
Yeah, and even now they're still not grouping up. They cannot do anything as a 2 or a 3 here. A 4 is the only way. I mean, Hecarim moving top to stop that push is definitely a viable idea, but sadly, I think it looks like Hecarim is also going to go down. They just simply aren't spending enough time as a 5, and it's really okay. The Vi almost went in there. I think this is looking like it's going to be at least 1 inhibitor for the red team for Walthamstow, and sadly, it doesn't look like they can really do anything to stop it from going down. There's the damage from that Katarina has just snowballed too far out of control.
Yeah, initially she did have a blasting wand when she was about 6-1 at the time, and she just had that blasting wand sitting there. I thought that was going to go to avoid stuff, but then she just ended up getting 3 kills, and it went straight into a death cap, which is just going to skyrocket her damage because she has such good ratios.
I mean, you can see here the synergy from the disengage from Walthamstow. As Pandora go to engage with the Sivir ult, they just immediately Shirelias and manage to escape. And whilst it was a good engage by Pandora, Walthamstow just managed to get out of it without any kind of negative impact and completely wasted the Sivir ults. So Vi might go down here. Vi tanking a lot of damage, but the tower goes down quickly, and there is the General again, just protecting all the fed individuals. And they've burnt their ults now, so they have no way of engaging. I mean, Pantheon's got his critical hits, but the armor on the Walthamstow team is just too much for him to do real damage.
He does an ult, but I don't think that's not gonna work out.
Yeah, I mean, we just see the classically split engaging there. I mean, Pantheon are way ahead of his team. If you're gonna engage on a Pantheon, you have to make sure you're within range of your team following up.
Yes. Oh, here comes.
Okay, so here comes Katarina. Now here is a good chaining of the CC. That's how the CC should be changed.
But they still didn't get the Katarina.
Unfortunately, at this point in time, they are just so far ahead that any kind of the lantern is just not being grabbed this game, unfortunately. But I mean, you can see a lot of Vi just laughing, knowing that there's no chance she's going to die. Just a tanky behemoth walking through the enemy teams and towers. The CC chaining is sadly a little bit too late. But Hecarim, the Sonic Crit
think
Boom
that
Hecarim,
is going to be him.
and Twisted
No,
Fate
she actually
engaging
gets away.
miles behind once again. Not even the ults. They are desperate to get some kills here, even if it is the end of the
That's
game.
just going to be, yep,
And
that
here we
is
go. We
going
see
to
the classic Katarina cleanup dropping very low on their back line, but the AD carry was, as predicted, well protected, and it's going to be a safe back without any deaths from Walthamstow.
10 and 1 from that Katarina right there. Just picking up on that. That was really desperate play, really, especially from the Twisted Fate there.
Yeah.
Like, Hecarim, it wasn't as desperate as he didn't burn his ult just as, like...
It looked like a max range ult. I don't think he could have really got much closer. And to be honest, Walthamstow looking to Baron here, there's no real reason they should. This is the point in time where the game is theirs. They just need to end it, if that makes sense. And I mean, the problem there that Pandora are in right now is that Walthamstow just completely own the map. They have 4 of the 5. They have 5 of 5, 4 or 5 possible pink wards out, and there's just nothing that Pandora can do to understand what Walthamstow is actually doing right now. And any kind of roam that is not with Walthamstow together is just gonna result in one of the Pandora team getting caught.
And as you said, with the fact that they have no vision, they actually have 7 turrets down right now. They can't see anything. They only have 1 turret in the bot lane, and that tells them absolutely nothing. So
yeah, I mean, they've got a creep wave push further than the turret, so the turret's purpose. I mean, completely uncontested Baron. Thresh barely even leaving base. To be honest, this looks Vi taking the crab, which at this point in time is going to be essential for their vision. I think at this point in time that the game is theirs. They just need to end it because even with the chain of crowd control, like Katarina is going to be able to absolutely mow through that team if her team engages properly.
They're also 17k gold ahead.
Yeah,
right now,
I mean, the gold lead is ahead. The clearing of the minion and the monster camps here is really just a luxury because they can, and they have 2 super waves pushing, meaning Pandora are just investing all of their time in trying their very best to just defend that base. And I mean, here we can see again that the team is just not grouped, and they're not even really able to group. I think Vi is, as ever, being the ballsy fellow, going all the way in, and I got a feeling that she's going to spam the laugh emote in a second from the plays we've seen from her previously. Aurelia diving recklessly into the team, and there goes the Shirelles. You can just see that they're beyond the ability of the Pandora team to kill now. They're too tanky. I mean,
Kingren even just burns
saving
his TP
the TP. They're again, all the engage that Pandora have so carefully planned out is just completely negated by a single general, which is where the team comes in so unique, and it is so well constructed because of that. You can see the Baron Cannon minion absolutely hammering into that. Okay, again, now we see a very useful engage here from Pantheon. This is what we're looking for. They do shut
down the Katarina.
An engage that actually focuses on the middle of their team, not slightly behind the team, and a followed up engage. To be honest, I think at this point in time, they're peeling the engage back, but Pantheon is not disengaging along with the rest of the team. He's probably going to get caught and be killed here by the very fed Aurelia. He should have... you can see Pandora aren't even moving to defend this guy. Well,
they ended up losing. They ended up losing a Nexus turret for those 2 kills, so you really have to question if it was worth it or not. That's 10 turrets now on the side of Walthamstow.
Well, I think what they've done is they've removed Walthamstow's ability to end the game for the next 2 or 3 minutes, but whether that's enough to turn the game really depends on the last fight. They have 1 last tower, and they're going to have to fight under that tower if they want any hope of winning, because, I mean, Walthamstow at this point in the game are just so far ahead in terms of both damage. And going for a 4th dragon, the 3rd dragon, it doesn't, I mean, I'm sure it's fun for that vibe, but it doesn't really seem to serve a purpose at this point in time. You've got to get that extra damage on towers. I mean, let's be honest, at this point in time, with only 1 tower left, that 6% damage buff is going to make a real impact on the game. But we'll see how it goes.
Interestingly, Sujin didn't even clear that ward he saw there. He's just too afraid. He thinks it's a trap. That's going to be a 3 pink for Ninshiki, though.
I mean... They're moving to end here. They've got the vision. They've got the comp. They've got the ultimates ready, and all the towers are down. They've got no real way to stop Walthamstow from moving forward here. The only way they can stop is if there is a very favourable fight where Katarina is immediately picked off under their inhibitor, the Nexus Tower.
No, they just have three in, or the third inhibitor will go down now, but this is the second time that inhibitor has gone down.
Yeah, I mean, the smart thing here is to just kill the inhibitors so that on the off chance that an ace is scored by Pandora, there is no danger to Walthamstow of Pandora being able to come back and clear 3 waves of super minions whilst their base is also being attacked.
And even if they fight with the super minions there.
So here goes the Sivir roll, and we see them not really use it. I mean, this is exactly what we didn't want to see. The engage is extremely scattered. They get some very good CC off from the Hecarim, and the Katarina takes some very... Katarina's gone down, so the majority of the damage has disappeared, and this is what we wanted to see.
She isn't actually done. It was Hecarim that died.
It was Hecarim that went down to the Katarina. Okay, well,
she's
then
still there, but just barely.
The Katarina seems to be unkillable at this point in time, and that's.
Look at the pure amount of HP that she just gained from killing people.
I mean, we can see that the spell vamp is being used in their favor, and it seems that the Pandora team just turned to stone under the gaze of the Walthamstow team. A fantastic game, and a pleasure to watch the synergy of that Janna. I mean, those ultimates were fantastic.
Right. Thank you, everyone, for watching that set. It was 2-0 to the Walthamstow side. We will be back soon with KCL Red versus Ermgard. And we will see you then. It should be in roughly about half an hour.
Thank you very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon.